So let's get into some marketing systems to build the perfect autopilot machine for your business. All right, so what you're looking at here on the screen is a marketing funnel. All right, and this is how we get a cold suspect, someone who doesn't know, like, or trust you, to become a raving fan customer. All right, so this is the process I'm going to describe to you. Remember those 3 core systems: lead generation, lead conversion, and then maximizing client value? I'm going to show you how these all interact with each other and how they work in this system on a high level, so you can kind of get a visual of how this all comes together. All right, so everybody starts out as a cold suspect. They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. We use what's called educational direct response marketing to get people in the funnel. All right, so we use things like referrals, joint venture marketing, direct mail, Google AdWords, telemarketing, PR, yellow pages, trade shows, writing articles, on and on and on and on. Believe me, there's no shortage of how you can get your message out there. Now again, remember, that's not the strategic part of this. The strategy is in the messaging, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, okay? But I just want to let you know that we use educational direct response marketing to get them in the funnel. Let me show you an example of an educational direct response campaign. Now what you're looking at here is could be a postcard, it could be a web landing page, it could be on the back of a business card, it could be a sign. It could be used in a lot of different ways. So forget the media for a second. What we're looking at here is what I call an educational direct response ad. So let's look at it. It says, attention business owners. If you're considering cloud computing for your company, don't until you read this. If you're the owner of a company with 20 to 80 PCs and are considering cloud computing or Office 365 to save money and simplify IT, it's extremely important that you get and read this new special report, 5 critical facts every business owner must know before moving their network to the cloud. This report will discuss in simple, non-technical terms the pros and cons of cloud computing, data security, how to choose a cloud provider, as well as 3 little-known facts that most IT consultants don't know or won't tell you about cloud computing that could end up causing you more problems and costing you more money than you anticipated. Even if you aren't ready to move to the cloud yet, this report will give you the right information and questions to ask when the time comes. Download it now. Now, let me point out what we did in this. First off, we flagged business owners who are considering cloud computing. Now, that's telegraphing, here's who we are trying to find in the marketplace. Now, if we're selling cloud computing, clearly we want to find business owners, in this case, business owners with 20 to 80 PCs who are considering cloud computing, right? Makes perfect sense. So that's why we lead with that, because that's called flagging the prospect, and we use it in the headline. The other thing we did is we are adding value in advance. We're offering this free report, and we're offering it in a way that they can get it very easily without having to talk to a salesperson. Because think about this, when you hear about a company or you're interested in a service, do you want to get on the phone and talk to a salesperson right away? Chances are you don't. Chances are you want to watch something, read something, learn more about them. Typically you go to their website and you want to get some information on your own time, in your own space, without having some salesperson breathing down your neck and calling you every 5 minutes seeing if you want to buy. So that's what we're facilitating here. That's why it's at the very top of the funnel. What we're doing is we're going out to this massive marketplace. And in your marketplace, I don't know, there could be thousands, there could be millions, depending on how big your target market is in your area. But we're trying to find out through all these people who are the ones that are ready and looking to buy what you've got right now. Now, this is just one example. I'm going to show you more. Now, here's an example of a website, and it's kind of similar along the same way. 5 critical facts every business owner must know before moving their network to the cloud. Now, what you're looking at here would be a web opt-in page. And the reason I showed you this is to show you can use the same strategy, but we're using it on a website. And I just mocked something up here, really simple. Obviously, this could be put into your frame with your logo and your graphics and everything else. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how this process works, whether it's a postcard, whether it's online. This could be the opening for a telemarketing script. Let's suppose you have salespeople and they need a script, and instead of calling somebody up saying, hey, we do cloud computing, you want some, which is really boring, and they start puking all over the customer about who they are and what they do, and nobody cares about that. I mean, talk about the fastest way to get screened and blocked, okay? So imagine if they said, we're calling CEOs in this area who have between 20 and 80 PCs who are considering cloud computing because we'd like to send you a very educational and informative free report on the topic. May I send that to you? Now that's going to get a much better response, and it's going to be receptive, of course, to people who are thinking about cloud computing, who fit that criteria. And that's who you want anyway. You don't want everybody. You want those people who are looking for those solutions and looking for more information. So imagine you can use this in telemarketing, direct mail, online, all different networking events, trade shows. You could be handing this out to people. It could be a sign in the back of your trade show booth. So this can be used in a lot of different media. Again, notice the strategy here. Most people have no strategy, so they're like cloud computing and we do 24/7 support or whatever it is, and they start talking about what they do without adding any value in advance, without giving any kind of education, without flagging who the customer is. So notice the strategy, then the media, which is the tactics of how you get that message out there, can vary again depending on budget and your customers, et cetera, et cetera. But I just wanted to give you these as an example. Here's another example of an educational direct response letter. Now in this case, this is clearly going to be a sales letter. It's a template that I mocked up. And this would be a letter that goes to a CEO who's frustrated with their current IT provider. So the letter says the 3 biggest problems you'll have with most IT support companies and how company, which would be your name, overcomes them all. And the letter says, dear colleague, if you're a highly successful, results-oriented business owner that wants to focus your energy on growing your business but find yourself constantly distracted and frustrated with computer problems, read on. Now what we did just there is we just flagged who we want as a prospect. So if I'm a busy CEO and I outsource my support, because that's typically who's going to want to outsource their support, right? Somebody who's successful, they understand value of their time, they want to focus on growing their business, so they want that part handled. We just nailed who we want in the first paragraph. Very, very important. It's called flagging, and that's what we did here. And then it goes on, my name is, obviously it'd be your name, president of your company. We specialize in making IT invisible to our clients. You simply tell us what you're trying to accomplish in your business. We make it happen without excuses, problems, or complexity. And because we utilize cloud computing and other advanced IT solutions, we can typically lower our clients' IT costs by 32%, as much as 71%, while simultaneously eliminating the aggravation you feel with your current computer guy. And although this isn't an amazing concept, I'm amazed at how many IT firms don't get this right. And it goes on to talk about the 3 problems most business owners have. Now notice what we just did in that chunk. Those numbers, by the way, I didn't just make up. There is a client I have who sells cloud computing, and typically he can go in and save a client that much money by getting rid of their expensive, overblown infrastructure and implementing cloud computing. And then they don't lose that money, they just take that money and apply it to more strategic initiatives in the owner's business. So often clients end up spending more money with them, but they lower those basic IT support costs. Now that's all going to be explained in the sales process as they engage with this prospect. But this letter is for lead generation, and we can back up those numbers. Again, never make up, just don't take these numbers and go, well, hey, I'm going to put this in my sales letter. You should be able to back it up with clients' case studies. So again, really careful. Those I put in there from an existing client. Don't just model them. Find out what that is for you. What's your value proposition? What can you deliver? And that's how you would write it. Then the 3 biggest problems. Problem number 1, you have constant technical problems. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You hire your so-called computer expert to support your network, only to discover every time they solve a problem, 2 more crop up, or the problem they were supposed to be solving keeps coming back again and again. And we dig into that problem. Second, they nickel and dime you to death. Most IT consulting firms make the majority of their money selling you an expensive, complex computer network plus a hefty monthly maintenance fee to keep it all up and running. And again, see, now this client I wrote this for sells cloud computing and managed services, by the way. So we are starting to dig into some of the problems that when they go into a customer, they can be competitive about. All right, and then the second side of this letter goes on. So problem number 3 is poor communication and service, from arrogant technicians who talk over your head to zero communication on the status of requests and projects. Other big problems. These are some other big problems that many business owners have with their IT person. So it goes on again to dig into that, and then it offers a free report. So it says, before you spend another dime on IT upgrades and support, you want to read our new report, how to eliminate your biggest IT problems while cutting costs by 32 to 71%. And it goes on and on and on. Now, again, this is just an example. Now, if you don't sell cloud computing right now, that's fine. We can tweak these kinds of letters. I'm just giving you examples so that you understand the strategy of what we're doing here. This is not just putting together some sales letter. We're really thinking through who's our ideal customer. And in this case, the ideal customer is a busy, very successful entrepreneur who outsources their IT support and just wants it handled. And typically from research, we know they're having these kind of 3 problems. So this is based on a specific client. And it goes into what they can actually do for that client. This is their competitive marketing advantage. All right, so that's an example of another lead generation letter. I'll give you one more educational direct response marketing example. Now, this example you're looking at, again, could be a postcard, could be on a website, could be used in many different ways. Warning, business owners, don't call anyone for computer repairs or support until you read this. Not all computer consultants are created equal. The question is which ones will give you an honest service and which ones will take advantage of you, overcharge you for their services, and possibly make things worse. Don't trust your network to just anyone. Our free small business advisory guide will reveal 5 costly misconceptions about computer support repair, as well as 3 critical questions you should ask any computer consultant before giving them access to your network or signing a contract. And it goes on to offer that report where they can download it, they can call a free recorded message hotline, and again, we're allowing the prospect to enter that funnel and respond without having to engage with a salesperson. Now, you can always put your phone number. If they want to call you, they're going to call you. But there's a much broader audience of prospects who are interested, but they're not quite ready to talk to you yet. And what we're trying to do with this kind of marketing is not just get the lowest hanging fruit of people who are desperate and they've been referred to you and they're just going to call you up. We're trying to go, when we're going out into this massive marketplace of people who don't know, like, or trust you, and how do we identify those people who right now are having problems, who right now are looking to find somebody else, who are having these issues, and they don't know who to call, they don't know who to trust. That's why most people come to you through referrals, because most business owners don't know what to ask. They don't know what to look for. They don't know about managed services or what's one plan better than another. That's up to you to educate them. And so that's what we're doing. We are facilitating the natural sales process that goes on. Now, another question you might come up is, well, Robin, should we sell break fix or managed services, or should we sell cloud computing? That's up to you. Again, that goes back to your business big picture strategy. Who is your customer? What are their problems? How are you going to make money? Now, I've got clients who make money in all 3. I've got clients who make money selling break fix, managed services, and cloud, and they do it all under one roof. I've got some clients that's all they do is sell managed services. They never touch break fix. And I've got clients who are selling to home users, and I have people who are profitable and successful in all those models. And I'll tell you what, there's people who are in those models who aren't making any money. So it's not the business model. It's the strategy you're bringing behind it. And regardless of what you sell, there can be an argument made to why that's the best for your customers. At least there should be, because if you're just randomly going out there going, well, I'm going to sell this because I want to sell it, and yeah, there's probably a better way, but this is all I can do. Well, that's not good either. That's not a very smart business owner. You want to think like an entrepreneur. What is the need out there? What are we going to deliver that's really going to nail that problem better than anybody else? And then how are we going to be experts at that? How are we going to provide so much value that the marketing almost writes itself, okay? So it's not just, I want you to understand, marketing is not just pretty postcards. I mean, it's a very integral part of your business strategy, and you really got to think this through, because in order to be effective at marketing, you need to think about these things about your customer and what value you bring and how you stand out. So once somebody responds to that lead, the next thing they go into is respond to that ad, whether it's a sales letter, postcard, whatever. I just showed you some examples. When they respond, they're a warm lead. Now, we don't know if they're qualified yet or not. We don't know if they're going to buy yet or not. We just know they have some interest in what you're selling. So they're a warm lead. And then we send them that free report. Now, in these examples, I used a free report. But it could be an audio CD, it could be a webinar, it could be a lunch and learn, it could be a video series like I'm sharing with you right now. It could be something like that, as long as it's informative and educational and it's delivered automatically. So when you went and opted in this video, I didn't have to have a person send it to you. You didn't have to talk to somebody. I automated this entire process. So learn from what I'm sharing with you. I'm kind of revealing the secret sauce to you as I'm even doing this video. So whatever it is, that the education you're delivering to them, the format, you want to actually even have different formats. You do want to have an audio CD. You do want to have some of it in video. And that's because different people like to consume the information differently. And that's why, you want to have a free report and you can have an audio. And audio could just be you reading the free report or somebody interviewing you. It's the same content, just delivered in a different format. Or it could be a video. You get a flip video. I've done so many killer videos with a simple flip video. You can use Camtasia Studio. How you record this information, if you will, is you can use all different kinds of formats. So don't get hung up on that. Just do one. I like free reports because they let you kind of sit down and think through your information, and then once you've gotten it written out, then you can use that as a script, as for your PowerPoint, for your Lunch and Learn series, whatever it is. But that's what that information does. That free report, that video educates them. It moves them to the next step, okay? So let me give you an example. The free report this is what you're looking at here is just a cover. I mean, I couldn't go through every 12 page. That would be a whole seminar in of itself. But what every business owner must know about hiring an honest, competent, responsive, fairly priced computer consultant. So this is kind of the free report cover. It establishes you as the authority. It educates the prospect about their options, what to expect, what the benefits are. It answers frequently asked questions, overcomes common objections, provides case studies and testimonials to validate your claims, establish your credibility, and it offers a next step of this network audit, a health check, or something else like that. So again, the free report is doing the heavy lifting. It's answering frequently asked questions. It's building credibility for you. It's educating them on what to look for when outsourcing their support. Obviously, you're going to use that as a competitive wedge and show why they should hire you over your competition. So this is essentially, like Gary Halbert called it, it's canning and cloning your sales presentation. So you get this created and you're literally delivering it to your prospects in an automated process, which is killer. Think about it. There's people I've talked to or clients who they get a prospect, they'll spend hours on the phone answering the same questions, going over the same stuff, overcoming the same objections. Imagine if you could just encapsulate that into a report or a video or an audio or something, answer the questions. Not only is it going to be easier on you to deliver, but you'll do a better job because you can really perfect it and can and clone it, but the prospect likes it better too because then they don't have to get on the phone with you. They can consume it on their own free time. If you put it on an audio CD, like I'm going to send you all an audio CD, you can listen to it in your car while you're walking your dog. You can watch a video whenever. You can download this to your iPod. I mean, all kinds of options. So again, that's what this information is for. It basically cans and clones the sales process, but it really adds value in advance and it positions you as the expert. So let me give you an example of a sample table of contents from what would be in the free report. So there'd be a letter from the author. Why did we create this report? Who should read it? Buyer beware, the IT industry isn't regulated and anyone can claim to be an IT pro. And in that section, you would just kind of go over what to look for, who's competent, that sort of thing. What to demand from the company that supports your network. Again, you should be able to do those things. Maybe your competition can't, all right? How even honest IT consultants rip off their clients, 21 questions that reveal how competent and trustworthy an IT guy is. And I'm using 21, it could be 7, it could be 8. You have to make that up, you determine that. Managed services, what it is and why is it so important to keep your network always up, running, and problem-free. Frequently asked questions about outsourcing your support, client case studies, how secure is your network, our free network health check will reveal the truth. Now that's the next step, all right? So we deliver this all to them. And then, of course, you want to actually have an about the author. So it talks about your company, who you are, how you got started, all that. So that would be a sample table of contents that would go into a free report. Now, They get I'm using report. Again, it could be video, audio. Hopefully you guys are following me on this. Yes? Okay, good. So once they read that and they read about this network assessment or health check or whatever you call it, okay, and they respond. They call you up and go, hey, I got this report. I watched this. I'm interested. I want to take you up on your offer of a free network health check, okay? So they respond. Now, that's considered what a hot prospect because they've shown interest, they've read and consumed your report. In the report's going to qualify them, it's going to pre-sell them, pre-qualify them, warm them up. So by the time they get to you, it's like, okay, we just want you out here to talk to us, all right? So those people are considered a hot prospect. And once you get somebody who's a hot prospect, the next thing you want to send out, or I teach my clients to send out, is a shock and awe box. Now, you're looking at an example here. This is one of my great clients. She's a wonderful lady, and it's Linda Lynch, and she actually put this together for her company. Now, when she gets a lead, she sends this wonderful-looking, well-designed box off to those prospects. Now, again, she's not mailing these out randomly. What she's doing is she's sending these in advance of a qualified call. So let me explain. So they get the report, they read it, they call up, say, I want this network health check. Linda gets on the phone, or somebody from her office does, ask them some qualifying questions, make sure they're right. If they are, they schedule the appointment, and then they send this out in advance of that appointment, all right? And what this is designed to do is position you, make you the expert, make you the trusted advisor. And I'm telling you guys, unless they're a client of mine, I can guarantee if you start doing this, this is going to differentiate you and make you stand out like you've never stood out before. So what's in here? You can see there's an audio business card, that interview. There is the report, the executive guide to trouble-free IT. There's copies of her newsletter. There is a guarantee certificate. She actually has a printed guarantee she makes her clients. Her client bill of rights. There's articles that have been written about her. She's got a testimonial book, a comparison chart of what to look for, a cover letter. It's a very, very well done piece. And actually, I don't know if you can see it, there's even a logo box of chocolates in there. So imagine this, you're a competitor to Linda, and you're going in there with your crappy little trifold brochure that talks about 24/7, all you can eat or whatever. She's gonna eat you for lunch because you ain't gonna have a chance. She's a very sharp lady. She knows her business. She delivers outstanding value and support to her clients, and she's using these marketing strategies to demonstrate that. That is an unstoppable combination. So that's what goes out next. And the key point here I want to make is if they don't trust you, it doesn't matter what you're selling, managed services, cloud, break fix, they're not going to buy. All right. So now these people are a qualified buyer. All right, so they've sent out the free report, and you're going to be using a scripted sales process, which I'm not going to be able to get into today. But in my program, if you're a client, you've heard of the slippery slope. I call it the slippery slope sales process, kind of a mouthful, because it's so effortless and easy. Once you get a prospect on there, it just goes right into the close naturally and automatically. And it's not using crazy tactics and tricks. It's actually taking a very professional, organized, strategic way of how do you assess somebody's situation, what's most important to them, and how do you present what you can do for them in a very attractive light. So that's what happens next. If that close, once that works, that sales process uncovers more opportunity, of course, closes the sales. And then we have marketing promotions that make them raving fans, whether it's cross-selling other solutions, sending them monthly newsletters, doing client appreciation events, and so forth. All these things and systems need to be implemented. So that's the overview of how this marketing funnel works. But here's the key thing. This is where you get involved. In other words, I promised you in this video, I was going to show you how to automate the sales process. And hopefully I just showed you a high level of what goes into it, how it works. Now, if you'll notice that for the most part, the lead generation, once those web pages are out, once those direct mail letters are written, you can send them out autopilot. You don't have to hand deliver every one. And then you use the free report, the audio, the video, whatever it is to pre-qualify, sell them. This is a process. So you're actually not even getting involved until that prospect has read about you, understands your value prop, has frequently asked questions that have already been answered, understands what you can do for them, the value in advance. It makes the sales process so much easier. All right, and that's what I mean by automating the sales process. You don't need 10 million salespeople in order to be effective. You don't even need 5 or 6. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have those people, because by the way, if you have salespeople, this is going to make them so much more effective. It's going to get them all singing on the same page. All right, because in a lot of organizations, when I'm brought in to do some consulting, I'll sit down with the sales team independently as well as in a group, and when they're independent, I'll say to them, so tell me, why should somebody buy from you? And if there's 3 people, 5 people, it doesn't matter, each one will give me a different answer. So by canning and cloning the sales process like I just showed you, most of it is going to be delivered. Obviously you got people involved, so it's not going to be exact every time, but the majority of your messaging and the questions you want to answer for your prospects, the majority are going to be handled automatically in exactly the way you want them. All right, so on this next video part, hopefully there's some value here, but in the next video, we're going to get into even more value. I'm going to show you actual client case studies and examples. So more of what I just showed you with Linda, more of these letters and campaigns, and I'm going to apply them and show you how they're working in the real world with clients who have implemented them. So make sure you stay tuned and watch the next video, because that's what we're going to get into next.